were using. It was only in 2023, so last year, when Apple decided that now it's a good time to get the push notifications working on the iOS platform for the PWAs. So the thing is that this year, just recently, Apple just decided that we just need to have the money from the applications, and they actually disabled the PWA support in their latest iOS version. So the 17.2 beta doesn't anymore have the PWA support within Europe, and this is all because of the Digital Market Act. So as you might have read in the internet, that there was this like a problem between Apple and the Epic Games regarding Fortnite. They wanted to have, they didn't want to give a share to Apple for whatever people buy in Fortnite, and they kind of went into battle about it, and because it's a monopoly basically, and EU. It didn't came in, but at the same time, EU was kind of worried about these monopolies, that you can't that you have one single platform provider that gets all the money, and there's no possibility of having another app stores within the iOS. So EU did this a Digital Market Act that came in effect really recently, and that actually allows Epic Games to develop their own app store in iOS, so that they can sell their own games through that app store. They don't need to give a share to Apple. But as a side effect, Apple wasn't really happy about it, and they actually just decided that since with this act, they need to allow other web browsers or web browser engines other than WebKit into the game as well. So it wasn't just app stores. So since now Apple needed to allow the PWAs to be on some other platforms as well, within EU, they kind of said that, okay, that poses a security risk, so we won't be doing that in Europe. So they basically disabled the PWA capabilities in the applications within European Union. They still work. If you go to Australia, if you set your local to states or whatever, you get the PWAs working. But for us EU citizens, it means that basically they just reverted back to bookmarks. You can still use the application, you can still use the JavaScript capabilities. It's just about the service worker and basically being able to run the application without the browser. I'm going to show that to you later. But anyways, so what the PWA is basically, it's an installable web application. You do your application with JavaScript using a certain architecture, and then when the users come to enter that URL in their mobile phones or on their laptops, the application can be installed on your computer or mobile phone. But technically, it's basically just using JavaScript and whatever backend technology you want to use. They still have a varying support for the features. There's a site called caniuse.com, I guess. You probably already are familiar with that if you work with JavaScript. So that's the place where you can check what APIs or capabilities are supported by which browser platform. Anyways, so after you install this application, you get an icon on your desktop or on your phone, and when you press it, it opens up like a native application. You are not contained without the browser window, but rather it looks exactly like a native application. So the user experience is really compared to one that is native. You can see that it actually combines the benefits of the native applications without going through the app stores. So these are all examples what the other companies gained from when they compare their web services to the the results from their PWAs. So you can see that the performance improvements, the re-engagement, so the people kept coming back to the application just using the icon and so on. And so those are really comparable to what you would get in native applications, but they don't need to go. But the people actually install these easier because they don't need to go through the app stores. There's a lot of PWAs available nowadays. I mean, the sites or services you might currently be using, they might be PWAs. You just haven't seen the install banner or noticed that you can actually install that on your mobile phone. And technically, it's really simple. You just have two files. You have a manifest file, and then you have a service worker JavaScript file. Basically, you can just plug this into any website. So you create a manifest.json that contains the basic information about your application. And then you have a service worker that's a JavaScript file, and you just register that in your browser. The manifest file contains information about, let's say, like the name of the application. So when you install that, what appears, what's the icon and what's the name of the application that appear on your mobile phone or on your desktop. It includes the color scheme of the application. It's basically what happens outside the browser windows, like the top bar and so on. So they need to match the application color scheme and so on. So these are things that you basically define in the manifest. And the service worker is kind of like a proxy. It's a proxy that manages the caching. It manages the networking and a bunch of different things. But basically, this enables the applications to explicitly decide what resources they want to cache. They can download them like in advance. So for example, when you install the application, you can have your service worker to download the most needed resources in advance. And then later, it actually allows you to use the application in offline because you already have the resources basically on your device. You can also use the service worker to manage the push notifications, so that's active even when you're not using the mobile application. It means that basically you have I don't know the technical details on how you set up the push notification. Basically you have a listener on your phone, and the push notification service sends a message to this service worker or the listener, and that makes sure that the push notification gets displayed. So a simple demo. This is my favorite PWA application for the demos because it's pretty nice, it's meaningful, and if you drink a lot of Starbucks coffee, you can. That's actually beneficial for you. Apparently, it doesn't work in Finland, but it's good for demos. So, anyways, so we'll go to this address, app.starbucks.com, and as you can see, it looks pretty much like any website. You have it's a bit, the layout is a bit like strange to me, but anyways. So what happens is that you don't know, sometimes the PWA application display a banner. A bit annoying banner, but it's a good indication that you can install the application. Say that, yeah, you can install this thing, please do that, and so on. But for us professionals, if you don't see a banner, you can see this icon here. You can also find that if you open the application on your mobile phone, there's also an icon. You go to the menu in Android phones, and you can see that instead of add a bookmark, there should be text like install this application. There's a difference. If it's not a PWA, it says that add a bookmark, and if it's a PWA, it says distinctively that install this application. So when I press this button, it says that please install the application. Yes, I want to install that. Some magic happens, and now I actually have it running in an application window instead of the browser. You can also see, let's see, I'll just move this out of the way. You can also see that it appears here in my Chrome apps. I can just install it, drag the icon from there to here, and now I have it running here. So if I close it, quit. I have an icon. And when I desire a hot cup of joe in the middle of my workday, I can just click this and it opens like an application. So if you have stuff that your customers are using constantly, like I don't know, like maybe an admin interface or something like that they constantly want to use, they don't want to be distracted by the browser window, you can just add the manifest file in any of your projects, and this is the functionality that you get. It doesn't require any like too much effort. Obviously, if you just add the manifest and the service worker to any website, it doesn't magically get the capabilities, obviously, but you can make it installable pretty easily. So I'll just put this here and see if we can continue. Cool. So this particular PWA application, it's 99.84% smaller than the equivalent iOS application. It's like crazy. You need to have like several megabytes, like tens of megabytes of application installed in order just to order a cup of coffee. And this thing can do that in a fraction of resources and so on. So based on this, and it's really easy to get, like I want to emphasize it, that it's really easy to get users to install this if you use the banner. I mean, only the pro people know that you can have this magical icon somewhere and so on, but the banners are used to advertise it. So the main thing is that you get with this, like progressivity gives you this like really quick access to some of the main benefits. This is the installability, you get the icon and so on. But really the true value comes from the client-side app features. It's just a fancy bookmark. It's nice for conversions and so on, but you actually get, when you use the client-side app features like the push notification, the caching, whatever, you can make these behave like real applications. So instead of just taking your basic Drupal site and slapping this on, you actually should design the application as a progressive web application from the start. There's a difference between the static website and then you have the single page application and so on. So there's like it's not the same thing. This is like the PWA explicitly requires you to have the manifest and the service worker, but it also gives you a lot of like benefits. But I think that it would be easy if you have existing headless implementations, if you have existing single-page applications or whatnot, you probably can convert them to PWAs pretty easily. Just beware of the problems I mentioned with Apple. So what can you do with it? This is what the customers are going to do. So yeah, we have this installable application and so on. So they really don't understand the fact that we can do shit ton of things with JavaScript nowadays. I mean, you like regarding the possibilities, you have a mobile application that works using the same code base than your web application. Everyone needs to have the web application anyways. That's just how things are nowadays. But now instead of just paying for your Drupal agency and paying for your iOS agency and paying for your Android agency, you just have the same code base, single code base to maintain. You can update it whenever you want. There's like several days of queues for you to push your application to the app stores. So you can just avoid all this thing. You can have internal applications for your companies, like extranet or intranets, for example, that you or the customer's IT people control. It means that basically, for example, if you have warehouse workers that they need to use some applications to, for example, scan packages or do stuff like that. And you don't want them to like build a custom application and then push it to iOS store and then everyone needs to install that because you don't control that shit. But you can put the application to your intranet and the people just access using their devices, they access the intranet page and then they download the application to your phone and then they have it on the go. And whenever you need to do updates to that application, you can just push them there and it gets distributed immediately to the people using that. So this is really perfect for internal applications, for example, that the IT team needs to be able to control that. Then, of course, like development is expensive, you can just convert your idea into service really easily. And then if you want to go to the app stores, you have services, third-party services like Bubble Wrap. That's a platform that you can use to take your PWA application, wrap it nicely in a native container, and then push it to the app stores. I think that there's a similar system for iOS applications as well. So you still get the benefit of the single code base, but you need to you can put your stuff in app stores. I'm not sure how the Apple decision to hate PWAs and open internet and everything that's dear to me affects this, but basically, I think that this has been like this type of thing has been around for 15 years. The iPad, I think that I don't remember how it calls, but like basically wrapping JavaScript to native containers is not really a new thing. So regarding what you can do with this is a list of the APIs. The customer says that, yeah, but it's a web application. I can't really do stuff with that. You can say that, well, yeah. I have bolded some of these. I don't remember why. It's been a while. And you can't really see the bolding, I guess, because it's even difficult for me to see. But I mean, you can do stuff like 3D canvas stuff. You can do web application. You can access the clipboard. You can do payment requests. You can do SMS, OTP, like one-time password input attributes, meaning that your web application can read your SMSs. If you have a one-time password, you can send the code to the as an SMS. Your web application can actually read the code directly from the SMS using this API. You have the web notification, real-time communication sockets. I mean, camera, full camera and microphone access, so you can actually scan barcodes. You can synthesize speech and recognize speech. So there's a lot of things. You just need to make sure that the platforms you want to support all the APIs. This is a long pizza list of things, but I picked some of the more interesting ones. So for example, I mean, access to phone contacts. Sounds nice. Using a PlayStation controller for your serious mobile application. You get access to the clipboard, you get access to device, storage. We have the sharing content to other application, background processing, and so on. So these are the most relevant, in my opinion, from the business perspective. These are what the customers probably are thinking when they compare JavaScript applications to native applications. And you can do all these things. I mean, these are not specifically PWA APIs. These are generic APIs. The only thing Apple decided not to support, as far as I know, I might be really wrong about this, is the service worker, so you can't really install the application on your phone anywhere. But if you access like the app.starbucks.com type of address with your Apple browser, you still can use the application, and you can use these APIs. These are independent from the PWA concept, except for the background processing and the push notifications, I think. But yeah, you can do many of these things still. That was it. 59. I made it in 20 minutes. I was really worried. Last time I had this presentation, it was in Dev Days last summer, and I think it was a 45-minute presentation. So yeah, we still have 30 seconds for questions. No? Good? Yes, thank you everyone.